Hello, hello, hello. Let me know if that music is too loud. I'm going to get started here in just a minute. I'm just working on a little doodle, a little warm-up. My name is Seth. I'm an artist in Southwest Virginia. If you've just found me, stumbling upon me, welcome. I'm glad you're here. And so today I'm just going to be working on some art projects that I got going on. I don't know exactly what I'll be doing, but I'm going to get started on it. So we'll probably just wait a few more minutes, see if a few more people join, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, I have a project going on called The Forest Guardians. That's kind of an ongoing project. It's a graphic novel. So I'll probably work a little bit on that today, and then we'll see what else we get into. So yeah, just enjoy this little doodling for now until probably 5 or so minutes. We'll jump into something else. So just doing some more warm-ups now. Alright, I think we'll get started here. Let me cut this down a bit. Alright, so this is just a little warm-up here, so I'm going to just do some additional warm-ups using the Blackwing, don't know, 746. Love Blackwing, they're awesome. And it's dark enough where people can actually see what I'm drawing. So alright. So I kind of have an idea of what I want to work on. I'm going to focus more on the art than I am going to be talking about the art. So if at any point you have questions or don't know what I'm doing, just let me know in the comments, in the chat, and I will try to keep an eye on that and update you guys as I'm going along. But I've actually had quite a few new subscribers in the last couple weeks since I've been releasing more kind of put together edited videos. So I do these live streams on occasion, most of the time on Sundays in the evenings, so right around that 7 o'clock mark or something like that. But hopefully this camera is working still. But yeah, so I work on my project, the Forest Guardians. Let me see here. Oh, my camera's not working for some reason. There we go. Maybe. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, so I'm working on Forest Guardians. It is a graphic novel. Think Narnia mixed with gosh, I don't even know how to describe that. I think Narnia mixed with D&D with a lot of Celtic influence and just really cool world building and things of that nature. So it's kind of my passion project. It's like if I was a kid, or when I was a kid, this is the story that I would tell. So yeah, I'm just gonna warm up here by working on some different character expressions, probably. These are characters in the Forest Guardians that I think my goal today is going to be to get a lineup, like a character lineup. So I'll start with pencils, and then I'll probably go back over with inks, and then once I've got some inks, I might scan it in and then finish it out digitally with color if I have time. But we'll see how far I get. I've got probably 3 or 4 characters in mind that I'd like to get lineups for, because I know I'm going to be drawing them all the time. Let me move this camera down just a tad. That's probably a little better. Alright, yeah, there we go. Alright. So like I said, I'm going to try not to talk as much as I'm drawing, but if any of you know me, you know how well that goes. Let's see, I'm going to adjust this real quick, make it a little bigger. There you go. So if you're just joining, I'm just working on some warm-up sketches. I'm going to be doing some character lineups today for my graphic novel, The Forest Guardians. And just getting some quick warm-up things so that I'm not so rusty. So I have no idea what we're listening to. Let's change that. There we go. Yeah, so this is why I warm up, because you can see kind of... Usually I'm a little rusty and I like to second guess what I'm doing. So yeah, that's why we warm up. So we can kind of iterate and just do some quick. one of the things that I would love to have come out of today is a character lineup that I can reference moving forward. So again, these are just very rough warm-ups. I'm basically just trying to loosen my hand up, get kind of in the rhythm. Kind of drawing at different sizes. Don't want to get too caught up in details at this point. So like you can see where I started here, and this looks like a younger version of the character. So I'm trying to find, I have some sketches that some pages that I've finished that I can use as a reference point, but I'm trying to be able to get that repetition down. So again, just trying to get a feel for it. I think I'd also like to solidify the hair, because that's one thing I kind of change on each. You know, when you got a more detailed shot, it's easy to zoom in on it, but let's do a weird angle. Let's do it down here. Let's have them looking up. Again, I'm drawing with this black wing, so it's super dark, so erasing is hard, but it's easier to see on camera, so probably won't be erasing a whole lot on these warm-ups. kind of looks like a Muppet at this angle. Let's figure out the mouth. Nose could come down too. Quite that big. Like I said, this pencil erasing is a nightmare, so I might switch over here in a minute. Alright. Alright, I'm gonna do some more warm up. I don't feel quite. This is probably the character that I feel most comfortable with. I think I've just drawn him the most. See, this is the thing, I want to be able to sketch out these characters super fast. Also, you probably see my wife in the background. She can wave. Nope, where you at? There you are. We are actually going to a Renaissance fair in a week, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. She doesn't want to talk. But yeah, super excited about that. I think it's gonna be awesome. Never been to one. We've been shopping for our Renaissance outfits. I've actually got mine hanging on my C-stand right here. But yeah. So this is Teague. He's a pig. That's pretty much his entire character arc. He's a pig. He's my main character's best friend, so he's kind of a side character, but I really like drawing him for some reason. But I've drawn him a lot, so I really don't need to keep drawing him. But I'll do a full Teague sketch here. Think like Puma from The Lion King, but slightly less comedic. Still comedic, but he's definitely like, well, he's pretty Pumbaa. He's often following behind the main character and kind of worrying about him and all that stuff. Yeah, like Sam to Frodo, except slightly more cowardly. But yeah, so what I want to do is I want to get a lineup that has kind of just like a, I have some front on and I know what that looks like, but I'd like to do a lineup that has a little bit of emotion in it. So what I'll probably do is just get a couple good poses that I like, and then I'll take those to inks, and then once I ink them, I will probably scan them in digitally. I don't know if I'll do that part today. But I'd also like to play around with, I have been doing pencils and inks traditionally, and then I've been scanning it and doing the colors digitally, which I like that process. But I'd like to potentially experiment with doing the color traditionally as well, just because I'm comfortable with it. I've never done it in like a graphic novel standpoint, so I don't know. I might try that out tonight a little bit if I have time, but we'll kind of see how it goes. But before I do that, I'm going to get my charger and plug in my iPad because I won't be able to see chat otherwise. So. Alright, where can I plug this in? I'm going to take it up next to the cords. Let's see, I might be able to move it right here. hoping I didn't just unplug something important. I think we're good though. That is probably not going to stay there though. There we go. Alright, so anybody watching, this is my project, the Forest Guardians. These are just copy paper sheets that I've been drawing on to kind of get the story down. I don't think these are final. I'm still kind of working on how I want to do everything. So I've done some final pages that I like, but they may change as time goes on. So you kind of see the main character. So you can kind of see a likeness to what I'm doing, and I really probably should be referencing these as I sketch, but I've drawn them so much that I kind of know what they look like. But one of the reasons I wanted to do this too was you could see here how in one frame they're, you know, a certain height, and then in this one obviously he's like down in the water, but even like the size of their heads is different. So I just want like a solid frame of reference that I can use going forward. But yeah, so obviously a lot of nature, a lot of forest inspiration there, and then just trying to get cool with the panels and all that stuff. So yeah. So that is what I'm working on, big picture. Small picture today is to get a solid character lineup, much like you would do for concept art and all that stuff, which I love concept art, so it's a good excuse to do something I like doing. But alright, let me do, just because this will help me, this is kind of my throwaway sketchbook, so this is like the main sketchbook I use for the Forest Guardians, because it's green, and you know, green. So I want to do, let me grab a ruler. Let's see, let's work. So what I think I'd like to do is have a line there. And I'd like to just sketch out the different characters very loosely, maybe a couple different times, just to give me an idea compositionally of what I want this to look at, because my thought is I'm just gonna paste it up here, and so, or even put it on like my desktop, so that I'm constantly looking at it and constantly aware of proportions and all that stuff. So yeah, and I think height-wise too, like we can get an idea of what that looks like. So let's actually get a good measurement here. Let's do 3 inches. Sorry, this is kind of the boring stuff, but that's, streams help me to do the things that I don't like doing, because the video side of it and, you know, almost the presentery aspect helps me to like hone in and want to have a finished product instead of just sitting here sketching randomly. So alright, so I'm gonna do that, and then I'm just gonna put as like the main guy very loosely. Again, these proportions are not like 100% yet. I need to dial it in, but really should not be using this pencil. Yeah, I should not be using this pencil. Let me restart. Goodness. pencil is way too dark. Let me use this. This is an HB. This will work. I'll do something eventually, I promise. Alright. Let's just do... Oh, this has a ruler on it too. Let's do 4 inches. Sorry if my head's blocking. So if you're just joining, I am creating a lineup of characters for my graphic novel, just to keep proportions and everything like that in sync. Yeah, so let's do... Let's see. That's about right. If you like the music that's playing in the background, if you can even hear it, it's the Hunts on Artlist. You probably find them on Spotify too. So I don't want to get too caught up in detail at this point. Again, I'm just trying to get a general outline of proportion. Super loose sketching here for a minute. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Not too worried about, you know, anatomical proportions beyond, you know, where they start and stop on kind of a height chart. Like he's actually probably a bit skinnier than this. I usually don't draw him with pants either. Usually he's got shorts. But I kind of recently had the thought like, oh, maybe he could be wearing these kind of more kind of like you would see oh, what is it, like not like a Viking pants, but kind of like with the leg wrappings, but yeah, I guess it's more of like a jungle explorer type tapered leg trouser kind of thing. That's probably the word for it. Again, I'll figure out the individual like character proportions. I just want to get a rough sketch down for now. Pretend like you didn't see that hand. Alright. I'm getting too caught up in detail. Let's get the rough thing down and then we'll figure out the rest. Alright, so I kind of want maybe somewhere around there. I do want his head to be rather large. Just made him cross-eyed. Alright, so we think about that in terms of like his head is the width of his shoulders. He's got this V-neck. Got no neck. Might actually need to be shorter or wider for this to work, because his legs are going to end like right there. He needs to be comically wider. This is why we do this. reference these. Yeah, so he's like... It's pretty wide, but not... it's not bad. He's a little more broad on this. We slope his shoulders down a little more. Yeah, because he's definitely pretty... He's kind of raising that shoulder up, so that's fine. He's thick, but he ain't that thick. There we go. There we go. That's probably a bit more realistic. Sorry, I'm probably covering my head a little bit. Alright, so those legs are way too long. It's got definitely stubby legs. So yeah, I positioned him a little too high up here. But that's where I want his head to be. So I've got to make his torso longer, I think. This is the not as fun stuff. It's still fun, but it's... Yeah, and his head might be a little squat too, but I almost don't mind that. Like he's kind of hunching a little bit because he's like, "Oh, what's going on?" Yeah, there we go. This is probably... Yeah, it's definitely more in line. The arms need to be a little bit bigger. And his sleeves are... Alright, so what do I not like? I think he's a little too rectangular. He needs to be a little bit like that. He needs to almost be tapered at the bottom slightly more, but I don't know. Let me reference these again. Yeah, I don't mind it. I think his legs just might be a touch too long. I think I have him a little more squat. But not much, really. I mean, that's pretty accurate. I think the shape of his legs might be the problem. I think he's just a little bit more like out of necessity. He's got to spread him a little more. He just needs thicker legs too. The beauty of it is I can change it now, but give it, you know, more pages in, and that option changes severely. Do I like that? It's definitely got more of a, I like the little legs. I think I don't know. Well, let me just put in a shape here for now, and then we'll figure that out later. And of course, that's when I like it. Alright. Moving on. So there's another character. Hara. Kind of like this lineup so far. I like the proportions. So I think Hara is a rabbit person. Rabbitkin, whatever you want to call her. And she is, her ears kind of come up to just above Teague's head. And she is, as you would imagine, pretty slim, pretty small. Again, just referencing what I've already done over here, just to make sure that I'm staying. I don't need to stick exactly to that, but I'd like to keep in mind the proportions that I've already liked enough to semi-establish. Again, the outfits are kind of like neither here nor there. They can change, and kind of have this like almost rope-like design around her waist, which I liked. I'm not going to worry too much about the hands at this point. I just want to figure out where they fall on the body. And the legs, I just have, so obviously got a lot of leg under there. That looks a little silly. It's not bad though. It's not bad. I like how they're positioned now. There's their mouth. It's more of one thing. There we go. That's better. Alright. So again, she's a little lower, so her height would even be a little higher than that, but let's see. She's got a lower nose. Cool. She's almost got this like jackrabbit type vibe to her. A little more rugged, rough around the edges. Alright, let's see. So, Eliezer is probably one of the cuter characters that I have. And I have not done any recent pages with him, so I could really just go any direction with this. But I kind of like the direction I had initially, where he's more of like a salamander type thing. So I actually want to reference, if I have a picture. Where would it be? Probably not in here. See if we've got it on the iPad. Kind of a picture here. Let's see if I have a different one. It's definitely not it. Alright, let me show you this one. It might be. So that's kind of what I had for this particular character. He's a little lizard dude, but I don't know if I like this exactly. I do, but I don't, so I might tweak it a tiny bit. Mainly I like this. Oh wait, I have a sketch in here that I did. That's right. I don't know where I did it, but it's in here somewhere. Ignore all my terrible sketches. If you've watched any of my streams, you've seen this before, but let's see. Where is it? Probably back here. These were pages from way back when. There it is. I like this one. He's a little derpy. But I like that like salamander, pudgy kind of vibe. So I'm gonna go for that, I think. To me, that's really cool. I like that. So I think he's gonna be roughly there. I'm just probably just gonna copy that more or less. Yeah, because I think I like that a lot. Again, I have to figure out like the actual proportions of the fingers and arms and toes and all those things, but Something about a pudgy lizard. Kind of like his tail, more or less, just like almost dragging behind him too. I think that's different. Cause it also kind of anchors him. It could be animated, but I like the idea of this like wider sort of tail. That maybe he's like clumsy or something like that. But yeah. I like the idea of this like fully animated like face too, where his entire mouth is just like a Muppet mouth. Yeah, Eliezer and Teague are probably my favorite characters to actually draw. Like the idea of this little like plume on the back of his head. I think I might do it a little less prominent though, to make him look younger. Yeah. I'm gonna have him carrying this bag to show him doing something. This is the kind of character that I imagine like interacts with the environment and gets in trouble all the time and then has to be saved by someone else. But then he's also kind of like the voice of morality and reason in certain situations. Innocence, I think, is the right word. Yeah, and I like these patterns. I think these patterns are cool. Kind of blobby. I think I'll give him like the 3 fingers, like Teague. Cool. Like I said, subject to change, but for right now, that's kind of what I'm going for. It's kind of basic. But, yeah. So, roughly, that's kind of Arlen's waist. Teague's chest. Yeah. I think that's a pretty good ensemble, if you ask me. There are more characters that I'll probably have to add to this lineup, but eventually I'd like to have just like a really cool like spread where it's just a character lineup. So what I'd like to do now is maybe take just a quick break. So I'm gonna flip back a couple pages. And you can look at this beautiful little thing I doodled before we started. And I'll be back in just a minute. I'm back. So this is where I left off. So I've got the proportions. So now I'd like to put these characters in context, next to each other in a situation that's, you know, when you see them next to each other, you see the character and you can get a sense of who they are and all that. And I might do a couple of each. So I'm just going to start by... How do I want to do this? Maybe I'll just do a couple sketches for now of how I want these characters. I'm going to actually, just to get a little more loose and not be so reliant on detail, I'm going to maybe do this in pen. Let me see. Layla, would you do me a favor? Would you walk out there and grab my pen pack on the couch? Is this the zippered pouch? I'm asking you on stream, so you're obligated to say yes. I'm just kidding. Oh man. Okay. Let me just do a rough. I'll kind of do a thumbnail up here of what I'm thinking. So. Thank you. Alright. This thing is awesome, by the way. I think I got it at Michael's. That's where I get everything. So I'm either going to use that one. I've had a recent obsession with ink pens. I found a couple that I really like, but it's kind of a brush pen. Who knows, we'll figure out something. Let me do this. I'm going to be super loose. Alright. So I'm kind of using this as a little thumbnail to test out this idea. All my characters are sort of the same size, so what I'd like to do is I'd like to put a few other proportion kind of characters. I know I'm going to eventually do that kind of character, but it may be, you know, not final. But I'm going to put a couple other little characters in there, like maybe I'll do like a gnome. Again, this is just a thumbnail to give me a nice idea of like a lineup. And then maybe right next to that, I'll do... I know eventually I'm going to have like a stone golem. So again, not like final proportions, but... just doing something a little simpler. Just to get the idea down. Okay. So, and then I'll have like main character. And maybe he's like looking up. I also have these other characters in the world that are, might be a little hard for y'all to see. Let me do this. It might be a little blurry, but it'd be better than not being able to see it all. I also have these characters that are basically Ents. So if you've ever like watched Lord of the Rings or anything, it's the tree people. And they're massive. It's like I could put one of those in there. again, none of this is like rooted in stone. Like, none of these characters are super final either, so I just really want to do something visually that's going to pop, that I can look at to get inspired by, but also use as a tool for when I'm referencing character sizes and all that stuff. So it may be cool to do, like, to juxtapose again like a small character against the big one. We'll do like Eliezer like turning around and being like, whoa, that's a big guy. And then we could always do Teague, like, maybe he's like pointing off at something. He's not even like looking at everybody. Again, just kind of doodling at this point. I'm going to get an idea. And then maybe we do one of... Hara kind of either sitting or crouched or something. She kind of got this like nice composition too in here, but yeah, so maybe we do something like that just to show scale of the world and whatnot. Also have a centaur character. So it could be good to like show that as well. Yeah, I think that could be cool. And I think that'll be a good, like, as I'm working through it, I can reference it, but then also I can use that as a nice promotional piece when I'm showing off the characters and whatnot. So now that I kind of have that understanding of direction where I'm going, let me do... I kind of want to do this on an actual traditional sheet. And I don't like sketching things twice, or like drawing things twice, when I can just draw it once and then ink over it. So I'm going to use that as a little reference point off to the side, and then I'm going to clear this off. And I'm going to get a sheet of paper. Let's do that maybe, so you can see me in my pretty face. Alright. Okay, paper. What do I want to do? I need big paper. Do I have big paper? Bigger paper. Mixed media. Ooh, what's that? Actually, that might be what I need. Bristol board? Ah, Bristol board. That is indeed what I need. Alright, let's fix this. Maybe. Alright, there we go. Alright, you're about to see the chaos of my desk. Alright, so let's move that guy over there. Let's put this actually can I do that without messing everything up? I can. And I did. Kind of. Cool. Alright. Paper. It's kind of a dirty sheet, but we'll just do that. Alright, so I need to ruler. Let me mark out a few reference lines. Let's do maybe 2 inches up. I need a big ruler. Did you take my big ruler again?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, it's on the side here. I just assume you always take my rulers. Alright. Cool. And let's do a headline just to get proportionally, like, roughly where each character is gonna kind of fall. We'll do the little guy for this. So if we kind of follow that same guide, I think I'd like to do maybe Arlen as a reference point at 3 inches. Just because he will likely be on every page. Cool. All right. I'll just put a quick line here. Then I'll actually get into the fun stuff. I'll probably end up stopping around at least 9:30 for tonight. And then I'll most likely stream probably next week as well at some point, but alright, so using this little thumbnail as reference, I'm going to sketch out roughly these same shapes, staying pretty loose for now, and then I'll do another tighter pass later on. And I think I'm just going to leave it on a white background. I don't think there's any super huge benefit of painting a background on this. So again, so we're kind of thinking little gnome guy in the corner here, and I'm gonna zoom in here for you just slightly. There we go. That's super bright. Let me see if I can fix that. Brightness down a bit, not too much. Contrast up or down, maybe. Maybe that'll work. So I don't want to sketch too dark because that'll just end up making a mess. So the gnomes I'm thinking in this world, I think they're just going to be a weird little part of it. I've only got plans to put one in there in the entire series, so it's really just a because I can thing. And he's literally just the smallest little dude ever. But he's going to have the biggest personality. Cool. I think music stopped. There we go. Yeah, so little gnome guy, I'm not going to worry about too much detail right now. I'm just going to lay in proportionally kind of what I'm thinking. I also want to make sure that I have enough room here for all the characters. So I'm going to go ahead and put just a rough block in of what I'm thinking. That seems super hard to see. Of dropping the contrast or what will help, but maybe just zooming in would be better. There we go. Hopefully that's dark enough you can see, but if it's not, I apologize. I don't want to go too dark too soon. I think too, like having overlap, I think that'll be interesting. Kind of give some additional context to these characters. And I know this is like the most stereotypical like lineup of characters right now. I'm gonna play with details. I don't even know if I want a mouth on this guy. Probably not. I think it'd be cool if he's like maybe scratching his head, like doesn't know exactly how he got there or why. He's like, who made me? The best thing in the world when you're doing stuff like this is doing the voices for the characters that you're drawing. If you've never done it, it's the most fun you'll ever have. Alright, again, I could detail this out like crazy right now, but I'm just trying to get a rough block in. Alright, so I need to put my other big character very roughly. I may not have enough room. I may have to overlap a couple characters. Kind of like the fact that this guy's like more or less got an afro because he's a tree. too. Let's block in his torso. Little tree skirt, no pun intended. I kind of want him to be a little more animalistic too. In terms of his like body proportions. A little more this kind of backwards knee kind of thing. Oh, you know what could be cool? What if he's holding Eliezer? Like, what is this creature? I think that could be... I don't know if his arm all the way up there makes sense, but we'll keep it for now. Alright, let's see, we lose music again. And we got it back. Alright. Let's see, I like that. Kind of want to do this like... When I was first creating this world, these guys were like the end-all be-all of what it was to be like a forest guardian. It's like eventually you just kind of became one with the forest. I really like that idea. I'm not sure what that means like for the lore of the world, but maybe it's like an optional, like, hey, you could become this. Alright, I think I'm gonna put maybe Teague and Arlen on this side. I'm not sure. I think he's definitely gonna be looking up at kind of want him looking towards the middle. Detail him out just a tad. Alright, again, we'll get more details as we go. I think tonight I just want to get like a rough sketch and then I'll be done. I'll pick it back up. So like he's kind of like raising this to like hold on to the staff there. I don't know if I like those pants for him. I kind of always had him in shorts, but I don't know. I think maybe if they hug his waist a bit more, it might make sense. Alright, anyways. Sorry, just saw the top of my head. Yes, I'm doing a lineup of characters for my graphic novel, The Forest Guardians. Some of them are like, you know, common characters. Others are like, you know, archetypes of characters or creatures that could be found in the world. So, I kind of like the idea that he's like picking up Eliezer. I think that's cool, but I think he could also do some cool things. I don't know. Maybe he's just like a dead hang. He's like, I don't know what to do. Please help. I kind of like that, actually. And then maybe he's like being held on by this bag that he carries around. I like the idea that the stone golem's like, hey, don't drop this guy on me. Yeah, I like that. It just kind of plays into that like wet salamander type thing. I just gotta make sure that proportionally, he might be a little large, but I think that makes sense. You could also kind of say he's holding him out a little bit towards the camera. All right, Cool. Well, that means I could put Teague or Hara over here. It's too hard not to get caught up in details for this kind of stuff. I love drawing trees and nature and those kinds of elements. Cool. Alright. Let's see. Do I want to put Teague here? Kind of looking up and... I think I could. Maybe his ears are a little flared back. I know what my default is to draw all my characters surprised, but... let's see. Might be a little large, but I think that's a pretty good. He's kind of turning his head. Maybe he's perked up a little bit. Maybe he's even like pointing up. He's like, Arlen, did you see? I kind of like the fact that he's always like a little bit like, kind of, I don't know, like big people, speaking from personal experience, you always want to make yourself as small as possible, especially in like environments where you're around a lot of other people and you don't want to take up a lot of room. There's probably a lot of trauma in that, but I kind of like the idea that he's like trying to make himself, I guess I don't like the idea, but the idea that he's trying to like take up as little room as possible. I also know that like one of my biggest downfalls when it comes to like characters has been like emoting and dynamic movement and things of that nature, and so one of the things I really want to focus on in this world and this project is having my characters be very like expressive. Maybe it's not good to have that so close there, but I think they're such good friends that having them in this like close composition is probably fine. I also really don't draw like, unless I'm putting them in a scene, I'm not drawing them at different angles all the time, so kind of having an excuse to do that is nice. Not that I really need an excuse, but alright. Yeah, I actually do like that. I think all that makes sense. in some weird way, I mean, they say that authors and artists and, you know, creatives put a little bit of themselves into their own work, and I feel like each character is a little bit like me in some way, for better or worse. But cool. I like that. I think I'm just going to get the pencils done tonight. It's already 9:25, so I'm not going to take too much longer here. Probably just block in these last two characters, and then I'll probably call it a night. Let me move this just slightly. Get a bigger picture. There you go. Alright. If you're just tuning in, working on a character lineup for my graphic novel, The Forest Guardians. I've only said that about 100 times, so a couple more times should solidify it. Okay, now that these characters are a little closer together, I gotta figure out a good composition here. I think this negative space, keeping in mind that I could do something here. I kind of like the idea of maybe adding a slight bit of environment in, because this guardian character is already kind of an environment, and then you've got the stone golem who's kind of an environment and character in one. So I like maybe, like, I kind of know the proportions of Hara, so maybe I could put her in on like a rock or a stump or something. I'm a huge fan of stumps in general, so maybe a stump would be the call here. Let's just see what that would look like, because I don't have to keep it, but having it so close, a rock might be better, because having it so close to the this guardian character, who is basically a tree, it might be a little on the nose. Let's maybe do like this rock. I like the very stylized sort of textures and stuff on my environment. That's one of the things I want to focus on as I kind of work on this novel. Maybe I could do something symbol or something on that eventually, but alright, so I think too with her kind of character, she's got these like kind of beefier legs, so this could be a way to kind of show that off too. Let's see, I gotta think anatomy wise how that would work. Let's see. Alright, sitting on a rock, leg. With the feet, just kind of do one of those. No. Have leg going out. Here. I guess you really can't cross your legs if you have backwards knees, can you? Can you? No? For those of you who don't know, my wife is sitting back there. Again, wave, Layla. There you go. Maybe she's not. Maybe she's just perched. Maybe that's the key. That's it. She's perched in like a Zen pose. The danger is that doesn't super duper show off her as a character. Maybe it does though. Yeah, I think it does. So I think she could almost be in this like faux Zen. Not that she's not a Zen character. I think it kind of shows her personality where she's like, yeah, everybody else is standing, but I'm sitting. The neck is a little shorter than that. She's kind of like this Jack Rabbit type character. I think she would be like toying with something in her hand. In my mind, she's got this more like kung fu aesthetic type vibe. Think like early 90s karate movies. Like those kind of outfits. And I'm not sure how I feel about that arm, but I'm kind of imagining it's like resting. Again, I'm just going to get the pencils, I think, today. And then maybe I'll ink it on another live stream or video or something. I'm recording this, so I could always put a full video together. Do a slight bit of environment. Cool. Alright, so I've technically got one more character that I want to put in here. Maybe I'll just block it in for now, but it's one of the hardest characters to draw. It's a centaur. And horse anatomy is the bane of my existence. But he's definitely going to be, like, much bigger. So, let's do, like, thinking horse. If there's horse people out there, I'm sorry. Because this is going to be a process, trial and error, and very rough for now. I need to get my my friend Rhonda Shell to do this for me, because she can paint horses, and I am not nearly as good at horse anatomy. I know they've got ankles and knees and everything like we do, but still difficult to draw. And again, I want to make it kind of an exaggerated version because it's fantasy. Alright, this might have to be a future endeavor for a not so tired Seth. So I want some like exaggerated, we'll push everything. I know that this is not 100% accurate. Horses are weird, much less centaurs. Kind of getting to the edge of the page here. It's also huge. He's a huge creature. Centaurs in general are just kind of wild. So the question is, do I want them that big? Because even as a horse, it's not crazy, I guess, but it's kind of a short, stubby horse. It's kind of condensed. A condensed horse. Like condensed milk. Alright, I think I'm past the point of exhaustion. Let me just literally rough in a torso. So he's kind of at this 3/4. So the thing is, I don't want him, like, his head to be much bigger than everybody else's. For some reason, I feel like he would just be crossing his arms. Again, I don't know what I'm thinking as far as this goes. I think we're gonna let's get it rough. Let's see, is there something I could put here? Let me pull out another sketch that I did a while ago. You see a cute little hedgehog. So that's kind of what I'm going for. The horse anatomy is not quite right. But like, that's kind of the character in mind. So I'm gonna have that right there just to kind of work off of. It's kind of almost a more Romanesque kind of chiseled. He's like this serious guy. Alright, now I just gotta connect that to that. Somehow. Alright, let's not think too much about little shapes. So I think the problem is the eye line is here, and I'm trying to do it like it's not. I'm almost wanting to like look down on it, but I'm looking straight at it. So I think that's part of my problem. So I'm wanting to keep the anatomy to some kind of alright. That's kind of a good framework. And maybe he's like, oh, wait, hold on. It's like the mentor character. He's like, wait a minute, actually. Alright. Stop thinking, Seth. Just do. And he's a centaur, so of course he's like buff. I'm gonna have to refine a lot of this in the inks, but that's alright. That's what inks are for. So think like putting up a finger like, oh, wait a minute, your thumb kind of does one of these. He's like, wait a minute. He's like, actually, that's my protege. I'll take responsibility for him. That's a terrible hand, so don't look too closely, but that will get fixed later. Alright, so maybe he's like, Alright, that's a little rough. I think that shoulder could be defined a bit more. Maybe it's just by this going up. Yeah, that's probably it. Of course, he's a centaur, so he's gonna have hair. So it's gonna kind of flow that way. Again, apologies if you keep seeing the top of my head. Not really thinking too much about that at the moment. Alright, so is he holding something? Is he kind of... What if he's holding, like... What could he be holding? What you doing? Tree branch? Can you look at it and tell me? I don't know. I mean, he could be holding like a basket. He could be holding like a book. Maybe a book. I feel like a book fits his character a little. Maybe he's holding like an open book. He's like, per the manual. So my other sketch, he's got this like kind of tabard thing. Which is convenient for this moment because it hides some of my terrible horse anatomy, which I will have to fix. I kind of like the idea of this like crossed pattern. That's kind of cool. Alright, and then maybe he's got like some kind of blanket on him. I don't know. Sometimes I can draw horses really good, and other times it's like something gets lost in my brain, and I'm like, what do horses even look like? But this is drawing a horse without any reference, by the way. So, I know that this part is probably wrong, but I think I've seen enough horses to know, like, kind of how that attaches to the rest of the body. and it's kind of in a weird, like, there's shoulder muscles, and there's plenty of, like, other musculature in there, but for now it's a very, think of him as a thick centaur. Maybe I could do, like, not to hide it, but maybe he's got some furry legs. I almost made him a moose, which could have been kind of cool, but alright. And of course he's like got a 6-pack, an 8-pack because he's holding his body up all day. Alright. That hand's gonna bother me, so let me fix that. By fix, I mean mess up again and not be happy with it, but leave it because I can't do it again. Alright. I don't know what that book is, but I kind of like the idea that he's like in the middle of like reading a book, then he's like, wait a minute. I kind of like these armbands too. Look at most Roman. I kind of like that, like, maybe the whole vibe of the graphic novel is like Roman versus Celtic, but not versus as much as it's like influence in that period of history, where you have a lot of like obviously Celtic, but then you have that little bit of Roman influence, at least design wise. So alright, I think that's where I'm going to call it. That's a pretty good lineup in my book. Centaur anatomy, not super pleased, but I'll kind of fix it when I get to the inks. But thank you so much for watching if you've hung out this long, and I will be streaming probably next week as well. Just depends on what we got going on. This is not like a recurring weekly thing all the time, but I am working on this project in the background all the time, so there will be little updates here and there. If you're interested in more like curated videos and content around this world, let me know. I have done some other projects, but I don't want to like overlap on this channel too much outside of the live streams, because I feel like that the algorithm won't quite know who I am, what I'm doing, who my audience is. But if this resonates with you, I might actually create a new YouTube channel just specifically targeted towards the Forest Guardians. Especially if I'm going to have regular updates and things like this that I do. So let me know if you're interested in that. I definitely would love to, you know, keep making these live streams. I think it helps me kind of wrap my head around a single task rather than just having like a sketchbook full of random ideas. It kind of solidifies a direction. Super pleased with how this turned out. I think that this is going to really help me not only stay excited about the project, but it's going to help me like just keep it top of mind in front of me all the time. So let me know what you thought. If you like it, if you absolutely hate it, if you want to, you know, never look at a horse again because of my terrible anatomy skills. But yeah, I think that's where we're going to call it now, and I will see you next time. Be sure to subscribe so you'll actually get notified. There's also a little icon that'll pop up with a bell. You hit that bell and you can select to get notified of my live stream specifically. You won't turn on all notifications. But yeah, and I post videos on occasion. I've got a new painting coming out, painting video that's going to be cool. It's a modern fantasy type spin. So it's kind of inspired by some other paintings that I've done, but that'll be coming out here soon, probably in the next week or so. And of course, more content for the Forest Guardians as well. But thank you so much for watching, and I hope you subscribe if you find this interesting. If not, just come hang out. That's fine too. But yeah,